guys, welcome back to my channel. This past Friday, Mama June Road to Redemption aired. This was the first episode where we get to see Mama June with Ella. Pumpkin finally brought Ella to see Mama June, and Pumpkin actually confronted Geno. The conversation actually went a lot better than I thought it was going to go. It showed me, honestly, just watching, it showed me that Geno has went through a lot of growth where he can acknowledge that he done things wrong. And it gives me hope that maybe one day, like, they can be a family. Now, I do have to say, Pumpkin done an interview with In Touch just a couple weeks back, and she said they're not really speaking right now. So I don't know what happened. I'm sure we'll figure it out in the next few weeks. Maybe next season, I don't know. But I'm sure we will eventually figure out what happened, if Mama June messed up again, or if there was something that went on there that stopped them from working on mending that relationship. But right now, where we're at with Mama June Road to Redemption, the season, they are working on the relationship, and they've met with Mama June. On the prior episode, they met with Mama June with Dr. Ish, Mama June, Alana, and Pumpkin. Now, Pumpkin set some ground rules for this visitation. One of the first rules was no Geno. One of the second rules was that she had to pass a drug test. Well, when they showed up to the visitation, Geno was there, and Dr. Ish was like, June, what are you doing? He's not supposed to be here. He was there with good intentions, though. He just said, I also would like to mend things with Alana and with Pumpkin. They were my family as well, and I know that I hurt them, and I know now is not the time, but I just want you to know, Dr. Ish, that that's what I want, and maybe you can relay that to Pumpkin and Alana and see if we can get somewhere with that. So they had the meeting. Mama June took a drug test, which she passed. The meeting went pretty well, so well that Pumpkin decided that she would meet Mama June in a couple days at the park, and she would let Mama June see Ella. Now, she did not tell Mama June this. So after they met up, she goes back home. Her and Josh seem to be getting along a lot better. Sugar Bear has reached out to Josh because he wants to work on his relationship with Alana. Apparently, Sugar Bear was in a diabetic coma at some point in the past, and he has not discussed that with Alana. And the doctor told him that it is hereditary, that Alana could end up a diabetic. So he reaches out to Josh, and he's like, I need to let Alana know some things. It's very serious, and I want to work on mending my relationship with Alana. So in this episode right here, we see Josh really putting that into play. They meet up with Sugar Bear at a nail salon, and they hang out. They get their toes done. They get a pedicure. However, while they're there, Jennifer continues to call Sugar Bear's phone over and over and over because Jennifer thinks that Sugar Bear is stepping out on her. The lady that Jennifer hangs out with, I don't know her name, but she's actually kin to Mama June. She saw Mama June at a gas station in Georgia. So she goes back to Jennifer, and she's like, June is in town. I saw her, and she's actually looking pretty good. So Jennifer tells the lady, you know, Sugar Bear's been acting funny. He's been disappearing. When his phone rings, he goes out the house to talk. So something's up with him. I sure hope he's not seeing Mama June, because if he is, she don't say Mama June. She says, I sure hope he's not seeing June, because if he is, I will kick his little butt to the curb. So Jennifer, for some reason, thinks that someone besides her is into Sugar Bear, and Sugar Bear is hanging out with them. So Sugar Bear and Alana and Josh, they go to this nail salon in this like strip mall. They're getting their nails done. His phone is ringing, 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 ringing. He tells Alana about his diabetes and how he had this scare where he was in a diabetic coma, and that he's really concerned with her. He says, you really need to go get checked out. Promise me that you'll get checked out. And she promises him. And he even had Josh promise him as well. He's like, Josh, please tell me that you and Pumpkin will make sure that she gets checked out to make sure she's not diabetic, or that she may not eventually become diabetic. So Josh tells Sugar Bear, yes, I promise you that we will get that done. They leave their little date with the agreement that they will do it again. Sugar Bear's like, I like this. I have fun. I want to do this again. Honey Boo Boo's like, sure thing. Honey Boo Boo and Josh leave. Sugar Bear goes to the bathroom, and as he's leaving, he walks out of the salon, and Jennifer rolls up on him. He's got the little foam shoes on his feet where she could tell that he had a pedicure, and she's like, who are you with? What are you doing? And he's like, I'm not with anybody. I'm just here by myself. And she says something to the effect that, are you here with June? And he's like, what June? Heck no. And she tells him that she knows that he's here with somebody, and that when he gets home, he can get his stuff and he can hit the road. Now, a lot of the episode, like this season, I have always thought was planned, but this was something that I think maybe it wasn't, because after she drives off, Sugar Bear looks at the cameraman and said, "Did y'all know she was coming here?" And they're like, "Nope." And he says, "The hell with all of y'all." And he walks off. So I think that was actually real. However, production knew that she was coming and they didn't tell him. They could have gave the guy a hint. They could have said, "Hey, look, Sugar Bear, you better hurry up because Jennifer's coming." But no, they let it rock and roll like it was going because they knew that it would make for great TV. And it was kind of interesting. So before that actually transpired, Pumpkin did meet up with Mama June at a park. It was just Pumpkin by herself at first. Mama June had no idea that she would be surprised by Ella showing up, but she was. Pumpkin sits down with Mama June and just tells Mama June that she is very happy at how the meeting went and that she has high hopes for their relationship mending, but that she don't want to get her hopes up too high because she knows that there's a chance of relapse. While they're talking, Jessica shows up from behind with Ella, and Mama June and Ella have a sweet little embrace, and Ella's like, "Gigi," that's what she calls Mama June. Mama June gives her some lovin's. Mama June starts crying. Mama June hugs Jessica. And before this point, Jessica was not okay with meeting with Mama June either. So this is the first time that Mama June has seen Ella and Jessica in a while. After they sit there and talk for a minute and she plays with Ella for a little bit, Ella and Jessica go play on the playground, and Pumpkin and Mama June sit there and they talk amongst themselves. They just talk about how hard things have been for Pumpkin and how much Pumpkin and Alana have been hurt by what Mama June and Geno done. And as they're talking, Geno walks up on them, and I was like, oh goodness, this is not going to go well. Geno walks up and he says, "Hey Pumpkin," he says, "I know I'm not supposed to be here and I'm not going to be long. I just want to let you know that I want to work on our relationship as well. And I know that you're not ready to yet, but I just want you to know that when you're ready, I'm ready." And he says, "Thank you. I'll be in the truck." And he walks off. Pumpkin was not happy about that. And she told Mama June, she said, "I was not ready to talk to him yet." She turns around and she calls for Jessica and Ella, and she tells them it's time to go. So she gets Jessica and Ella and they go to leave. Ella was not happy. She was very upset. She was not ready to leave. She gives Mama June a hug and they leave. So Pumpkin gets home and she talks to Josh and she talks to Honey Boo Boo, and she tells them, Geno walked up and I got mad and I left. And Josh is like, "Well, why did you leave? Like, we're all here talking about how Mama June has changed. Maybe Geno's changed too." And Honey Boo Boo was like, "Yeah, maybe he has. Mama passed the drug test, so maybe Geno has changed as well. And Mama told us that it was Geno's idea to go to rehab in the first place. So maybe they both have really changed, and maybe we should give them both a chance." So Pumpkin thinks on that a little bit, and she decides that before Mama June and Geno leave town, she's going to pop up on them. She actually says, "I'm going to pop up on them like Geno popped up on me." So as Mama June and Geno are in the hotel room, they're actually packing their bags because they have to be checked out of the hotel in a couple of hours. And Mama June is kind of griping at Geno, because Geno popped up when he wasn't supposed to, and it made Pumpkin leave. So she's griping at him, and she's like, "You had one job, just not to show up, and you showed up, and now she's angry. I don't know if she's going to talk to me again. Why did you do that?" And Geno was very apologetic. He's like, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted her to know that I would like to apologize for the things that I've done as well, and I would like to work on our relationship also." And he's like, "But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin things for you." As they're talking, they get a knock on the door, and Geno thinks that it's the hotel coming up to tell them that they're being too loud. He looks at Mama June and he says, "You're getting us in trouble. Be quiet." He goes and he opens the door, and much to his surprise, it is Pumpkin. He opens the door and he goes, "Oh." He turns around to Mama June and he says, "Pumpkin's here to talk to you, babe." And Pumpkin says, "Oh no, actually, I'm here to talk to you." And they both look shocked, and he asks, "Right now?" She goes, "Yep, right now." So they go down outside of the hotel into a little sitting area, and they start talking. And she asked Geno, she says, "Mama told us that it was your idea to go to rehab in the first place. Is that true? And what made you want to do that?" And he says, yes, that it was true, that it was his idea to go. And he tells her that he was just tired of living the way that they were living, and that really they weren't even living. They were just in this cycle and they couldn't stop. He said they were practically living in hotel bathrooms and using drugs all day long. He says they were just existing, but they didn't actually have any life, really. During the conversation, Pumpkin remained calm. She did want Geno to know how much their drug use and their absence affected her and Alana. She said, I just need y'all to hear me and hear Alana through me because she's not here. I need y'all to know how much this did hurt us. That it's definitely been hard trying to process everything. And to let Alana know that this is not her fault. She said in the end, obviously Alana thinks that it's her fault because Alana has this dad, Sugar Bear, who's not been there for her. And Alana thinks in her mind that the reason Sugar Bear has not been there is because she's not a boy. And then she has Mama June and Geno. When Geno come into the picture, he was a father figure to her and he'd done everything right. And she felt like she had a father. He was good to her. But then they got knee deep in their addiction basically, and they just jetted out on Alana. And she says that she does not want Alana to feel like it's her fault, and she needs Geno to hear that. Like, she needs Geno to hear how Alana feels, that Alana feels like it's her fault that her dad's not there, and it's her fault that Mama June and Geno left them and become addicts. And in a confessional, she says, I do feel bad for Alana because her piece of crap daddy doesn't have anything to do with her. Geno went above and beyond for Alana. He really showed Alana what a father was supposed to be. But once Geno and June started using drugs and abandoned them, they both felt really angry. These are things that she told Geno, and she said she needed him to understand that. As she sat there and talked, Geno seemed to be really receptive of what she was saying. He said several times, you know, I understand, we were wrong, there's no excuse for it, and I'm sorry. She did say that she thought that it was good that Geno and Mama June both hear Alana's side because Alana tends to hold things in. She just kind of keeps them bottled up. So she thinks that it's good for them to see Alana upset so they can see the pain that it has caused her. She's only 15, and she says that she feels like everybody kind of forgets that Alana's 15 because she does act older than 15. But she says in the end, she is 15, she is a child, and this is what she's dealt with in just the past few years. She's dealt with her mom and dad getting a divorce, her dad seeming to not want anything to do with her unless the cameras are around because, you know, in Alana's mind, she's not a boy. And then everything that's went on with Mama June and Geno. She just don't want Alana to feel like she is the issue for some reason. So I think the conversation went really well. Geno ends up inviting them to Florida. He's like, you know, y'all should come to Florida. We have this really nice house. It has a pool. There's a beach. You guys love the beach. So I think, you know, it would be really cool for you guys to come to Florida. And I was kind of shocked, but Pumpkin was like, you know, I'll talk to Alana about it. But I thought that she would say, no, I'm not there yet. But no, she was like, I'll talk to Alana about it. So the meeting went well. She didn't even go up and tell Mama June bye. Like, when the meeting was over, she left. Geno went back up, and he's like, hey, it went great. I invited them to Florida. And Mama June was like, she didn't come up to tell me bye? And he was like, nope. So she goes back home, and she talks to Pumpkin and Josh. And she tells them how well the meeting went. She tells them how they were invited to Florida. Alana gets really excited about that. She's like, are we going to go? And Pumpkin's like, well, I just don't know. You know, it's a lot to think about. Josh kind of chimes in and says, well, I'm not excited about it. You know, I'm going to trust your judgment. So whatever you think y'all need to do, I'll support that. She ends up calling Mama June, and she says, you know, Geno invited us to Florida, and I think we're going to go. Obviously, everybody's excited at this point. Honey Boo Boo talks about how she got a brand new bathing suit, and it's time to break it in. So she goes to her room, and she calls Sugar Bear because she actually already had plans with Sugar Bear for the next weekend. But now they've made the decision that they're going to go visit Mama June and Geno in Florida. So she goes to her room, and she calls Sugar Bear, and she tells him, you know, I got bad news. I'm not going to be able to come hang out with you this weekend because we're going to Florida. You know, we've met with Mama June while she was in town, and Mama June invited us to Florida, and we're going to go visit her. And I'm really excited about that. Obviously, Sugar Bear was not happy about it. You know, he's like, is this the right decision for you guys to make, to go to Florida to see them? You know, we already have plans. And Alana tells him, you know, it's been a long time since I've really spent time with my mama, and I want to go see her, so that's what we're going to do. During this call, Sugar Bear was sitting on the bed of his truck in the middle of nowhere, what it looked like. Because once he got home from the nail salon, Jennifer had his stuff outside in the yard. In the clip, it shows him returning home, knocking on the door, and Jennifer opens the door and tells him, little man, there's your stuff, hit the road. So he gets his bags and he gets in his truck, and he actually just goes and parks for a while, and he has a conversation with Alana over the phone, and he tells her, you know, good luck, hope you have fun, but he's obviously disappointed that she's canceled the plans for the next weekend. So the show actually ends with the girls not at home, they're leaving to go to Florida, and Sugar Bear shows up at Josh's house with all his bags and everything and tells Josh that he needs somewhere to stay because Jennifer has kicked him out. So that's where the episode ends. The girls, Pumpkin, Alana, and Ella, they're going off to Florida to see Mama June and Geno. I'm excited for the next episode. I'm excited to see how that time with them went, because maybe what happens in the next episode is why they're not really speaking now. Maybe something happens and maybe they leave upset. I don't know. Maybe it's a great visit and we still won't have answers as to why they're not really speaking now. But I think the next episode is going to be a great one to see them go to Florida. I'm curious to see how Josh is going to react to Sugar Bear and needing a place to stay. Is he going to invite him on in, or is he going to be like, dude, there's a hotel down the street? I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. I'm going to make sure I do another recap next week, probably next Monday. I'll do another recap after that Friday's episode. So if you're interested in watching that, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Give this video a big thumbs up. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.